Who knew Angel Capers said her name wasn't poetic, it was prophetic. Angel wasn't a brand. It was a way she moved through the world. The kind of woman who couldn't walk past hunger without trying to fix it, who quietly slid money to people embarrassed to ask, who listened without judgment in a world addicted to cruelty. A soft heart in a hard place, the kind this country loves to praise after it's already been crushed. Angel carried that same discipline and decency into uniform, serving as a U.S. Army unit supply specialist across Afghanistan, the Persian Gulf, and back home. She did the work without spectacle, stacked accolades without applause, and came home honorably discharged in 2015, another Black woman who served her country faithfully, only to be left to fend for herself once the salute stopped. Back in the Charleston area, she earned her associate's degree, worked for a government contractor, and raised 3 children, because somehow she managed to juggle patriotism, professionalism, and motherhood without ever dropping the ball. Her roots were planted deep in her grandmother's James Island home, in a church where faith wasn't a performance, but a practice. Kindness, selflessness, accountability, the kind of values that don't trend on social media, but hold families together. Angel raised her children the same way, making sure her 16 and 13-year-old daughters and her 11-year-old son wanted for nothing, excelled in school, and knew exactly where they stood in her life. They weren't just her kids. They were her purpose, her reason, her greatest pride. So when Angel discovered that the man she was dating had offered her daughter $200 for pictures of her chest, dangling money for a car down payment like bait, she didn't hesitate. She did exactly what we tell women to do. She got away. She filed the police report. She tried to hold him accountable under the law. She chose her children over comfort, love over denial, safety over silence. But the system moved at its usual pace, slow, bureaucratic, and dangerously indifferent. And by the time the law finally caught up, it was too late. Angel did everything right, and still, her children were left motherless, not because she failed, but because the system did. Welcome to the American Crime Femicide channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. That instinct, the one that sharpens when something feels wrong, is what ultimately saved her children. And it is also the instinct that placed Angel directly in the crosshairs of a system that mistakes procedure for protection. Angel began noticing subtle but persistent changes in the man she was living with, Jeremy. There was no cinematic unraveling, no dramatic outburst that would make disbelief impossible, just behavior that lingered in the body before it reached the brain. He hovered around one of her daughters too long, watched instead of passing by, asked questions that had nothing to do with parenting and everything to do with access. This is the moment most women are trained to betray themselves, to rationalize, to stay quiet, to wait for something worse before acting. Angel didn't wait. On June 25th, the discomfort became undeniable. According to court filings, Hewlett allegedly offered Angel's teenage daughter $200, framed as help toward a car down payment, in exchange for pictures of her chest. Then he sealed it with the sentence predators rely on most: "This stays between us." Angel moved immediately. She did not debate intent. She did not wait for proof to become trauma. She removed her children from the home and took them to a hotel. When they returned, Hewlett allegedly reacted not with remorse, but with entitlement, angry that Angel refused to share a bed with him, angry that intimacy was now off the table, angry that access had been revoked. At one point, Hewlett reportedly told Angel a demon had jumped into his body, as if spiritual possession could excuse predatory behavior. Angel was not interested in metaphysical explanations. She was interested in safety, distance, and documentation. On June 27th, she filed for an emergency hearing in family court. Her language was restrained but urgent. "We don't feel safe around him." She asked that Hewlett be prohibited from abusing, threatening, molesting, harassing, or placing her or her children in fear. She requested that he be barred from contacting them or entering the home. A protective order was issued on July 2nd. On paper, Angel was now protected. In reality, she had been handed a timestamp. Protective orders do not restrain men who already believe rules are optional. They do not stop text messages, workplace confrontations, or parking lot intimidation. What they do is formalize danger, converting the fear into a case number and placing the burden of survival squarely on the victim. What followed was escalation, slow, deliberate, and increasingly bold. The Angel entered the phase survivors know intimately. Life continuing under siege. She still worked, still parented, still showed up, but fear became ambient. Her nervous system never powered down. Every vibration of her phone carried weight. Every unfamiliar car triggered calculation. Silence didn't feel calming. It felt like something gathering momentum. Her children felt it too. They watched her check locks twice, saw her pause before opening doors, learned early that safety was something you monitored, not something you assumed. This is the inheritance children of domestic violence receive long before anyone ever calls it trauma. Angel documented everything, not because she trusted the system, but because she understood it. She knew women are believed only after they prove they exhausted every option. So she left no gaps, no gray areas, no opportunity for officials to later claim ignorance. On July 15th, Hewlett violated the protective order by texting her. His mother also contacted Angel, another violation, another attempt to apply pressure through family channels. Angel reported both immediately and wrote plainly that she feared Hewlett would continue violating the order and that she was genuinely afraid for her life and her children's safety. This was not panic. This was surveillance. Angel began hardening her environment. She changed the locks, ensured the alarm system was active, installed additional cameras, not for comfort, but for evidence. Proof that what was happening was real. Proof that she was not exaggerating. She even considered buying a firearm. That detail matters, because women like Angel do not arrive at that decision casually. This was not about power. It was about math. Police response times versus proximity. Paperwork versus presence. Survival versus procedure. On July 18th, a warrant was prepared for Hewlett's arrest related to the solicitation of a minor. The warrant existed. It was not served. Days passed. On July 21st, Angel reported another violation, someone contacting her on Hewlett's behalf. Again, she followed protocol. Again, nothing happened. By now, Hewlett was not unknown to law enforcement. His criminal history stretched back nearly 2 decades, including restraining order violations involving a minor, a domestic violence conviction against a pregnant woman, failures to appear, and outstanding warrants. This was not unpredictability. This was pattern. Then Hewlett made the threat public. On July 25th, he showed up at Angel's workplace in Hanahan. He approached her openly, spoke with her and a witness, and returned items he had taken from her home, a display meant to communicate dominance, not reconciliation. He fled before officers arrived. A judge authorized an arrest warrant. It was not served. The explanation later offered was that the case officer was off duty. Danger does not pause for weekends. Stalking does not respect schedules. Abusers exploit every delay they are given, and institutions teach them exactly how much time they have. Angel kept waiting for the system to catch up to the danger she was living with daily. August 4th arrived like a deadline. At 5:24 a.m., Hewlett allegedly returned to Angel's workplace again. This time, he blocked her vehicle and attempted to break her car windows. Warrants for stalking and malicious injury to property were drafted. He left before officers arrived. Had he stayed, he could have been arrested. At 7:15 a.m., Hewlett had an encounter with North Charleston police. He was not arrested. At 12:49 p.m., Berkeley County authorities emailed Charleston County about the outstanding solicitation warrant, jurisdictional ping pong, while a woman was actively being hunted. At 1 p.m., the U.S. Marshals Service received a request for assistance. There was no emergency designation, no warning that Angel had been reporting escalating threats for weeks. At 1:25 p.m., deputies called Hewlett and left a voicemail. At 2:54 p.m., another voicemail was left. Sometime after that, before any warrant could be served, Hewlett allegedly broke the glass of Angel's rear door, walked upstairs, and shot her multiple times. Camera footage captured him leaving immediately afterward. Deputies arrived shortly before 3:30 p.m. Angel was pronounced dead at the scene.
The Berkeley County Coroner's Office has released the identity of the woman killed during a shooting in the Cane Bay community that occurred yesterday afternoon. Now, the shooting happened at 221 Grandview Crossing in Berkeley County just before 3:30 p.m. Berkeley County Sheriff Dwayne Lewis says deputies responded to the scene after receiving reports of a potential burglary in progress. Well, upon arrival, deputies located 38-year-old Angel Capers, who was pronounced dead at the scene. Her cause of death was due to a gunshot wound. Officials say the shooting was domestic related. 39-year-old Jeremy Hewlett was taken into custody in connection with the incident. He has been booked at the Berkeley County Jail on multiple charges. The investigation into this case is ongoing.
Only after her death did the system fully mobilize. Hewlett was arrested and charged with murder, stalking, criminal solicitation of a minor, malicious injury to personal property, and multiple violations of the protective order. Bail could not be set. Angel lived a life of servitude to her country, her community, and most fiercely, her children. She fought with everything she had to protect them. She trusted the system because she believed accountability mattered. She followed every rule, filed every report, installed every safeguard. She did everything right, and she was still failed. Rest in power, Angel Terse Capers.